What a performance. What a performance. And I don't mean in a good way. I mean, what a performance from Chelsea yesterday. I mean, how bad were Chelsea? How good were Leicester? Defensively, Leicester were brilliant. Welcome back to the channel from the shed end. Hope you're all doing well. Chelsea won, Leicester 0 yesterday. 2 p.m. kickoff, Stamford Bridge. We're going to get into all of that. Before we do, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the game? Drop it all in the comment section below. Leicester. I said before the game, we had to make sure that when we play against a team like Leicester, that we win convincingly and that we show some intent, some conviction. And we didn't do any of that. We really didn't do any of that. It was a poor game. It was an absolutely poor game from us yesterday. There wasn't many surprises in the lineup. I was surprised to see Robert Sanchez, as we already heard that, Maresca was saying not too long ago that, Robert Sanchez is now our cup goalkeeper. We now have Jurgensen as our league goalkeeper. To see Robert Sanchez in goal, the bozo, as I called him yesterday, in goal for us, it didn't fill me with confidence going into that game. I thought there was always going to be a mistake in that game, and we nearly got to see that when I think it was Jamie Vardy. Sanchez dives out, it's Jamie Vardy, and I think it's Levi Colwell. The ball bounces off the crossbar. The bozo gene. It was a tough watch yesterday, I'll be honest. But look, let's try and dissect it. So the lineup, as I said, was quite self-explanatory. No Reece James due to illness. Reported before the game that he was too ill to play, which is kind of in a way a blessing in disguise, because a lot of fans thought it was an injury. It wasn't an injury, it was just an illness. So we hope to see him back against Copenhagen in a week. But no real surprises. Sanchez in goal. For Fofana, let's credit Fofana. Wesley Fofana done about 75 minutes yesterday, and he put in a really good shift. He was almost playing as the right back at times, almost the right centre back, with Jadon Sancho almost filling in as a right wing back at times. So it was good to see Wesley Fofana put in a good shift, back against his old team. He done well. He looked comfortable. We need to try and keep him fit for the rest of this season, because I think we got to see the difference with having someone like Wesley Fofana in that team alongside Tosin and Colwell, and just the differences that you got to see from them. So I was really impressed with him. Cucurella, as we know, is Cucurella. We're going to talk about his goal in a minute, but what a good performance from our defence, to be honest. We were solid at the back. We didn't let much through, albeit against Leicester, but we didn't let much through. The two midfield, Fernandes and Caicedo. Look, I mean, I said before the game, Moises Caicedo cannot get booked, and he put in a really good performance for me personally, in terms of not picking up the yellow card, being resilient in that midfield with Enzo, and it worked. It actually worked. They worked well together. We got to see Enzo a little bit more forward. Then we had the three of Nkunku, Cole Palmer, Jadon Sancho, with Pedro Neto as the 9. But it was a tough game. I'm going to be honest. It was an absolutely tough game. We went into this one with 2 wins out of 5. Leicester were coming into it with 1 win in 5. Conceded 12 in their last 4 games, as I said before in the match preview. But we had a lot of possession of the ball, but we just didn't really do anything with it. I think we had like 70% possession in that first half yesterday, and we didn't do nothing with it. There was no real conviction. There was nothing clinical going forward. It just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough from us. We had too many missed opportunities in that first half. The penalty, that wasn't a penalty. The first shout from the ref, I thought he got that right. Cole Palmer, yes, he's touched in the box, but it's not a penalty. It isn't a penalty. Now, the penalty that was a penalty, I think it was a tackle from, might be Luke Thomas on Jadon Sancho. That was a penalty for me. And it was one of those weird ones, because I think when Cole Palmer steps up, I think he has the best penalty conversion rate in the Premier League this season. I'm sure he scored 10 penalties in 10. So when you see Cole Palmer step up, you think, yeah, right, this is it. Here's where the drought ends. Here's where Cole Palmer comes back and he shows us why he's Cole Palmer. But I don't know, the penalty he took too long. The goalkeeper's off his line, the ref's not telling him to get back on his line either. That's a booking in itself. But it was just a bit like mind games was going on between keeper and Cole Palmer. And the longer the penalty he was waiting to take that penalty. You just almost felt like he was going to miss it. And it wasn't a good penalty. It wasn't in the corner. It wasn't a good penalty. And with Cole Palmer at the moment, I don't know what's happened, if it's just a confidence thing. Is he overworked? He's played a lot of football in the last 18 months or so. Is he just overworked? Are we just overworking the best player that we currently have in our team? Not just in the Premier League now, he's now in the Conference League. So are we just overworking Cole Palmer? Potentially. But from a penalty spot, you can't even blame like confidence, or you can't blame anything, because it's literally just one kick of the ball. Yeah, and then even after the penalty miss, I felt Cole Palmer was trying a little bit too hard in the game. I felt like he was trying a little bit, taking shots on that weren't on, not passing the ball when he should feed it through to someone, not being intricate with it, not trying to set up a 1-2. It just didn't seem like he was one of those. It was one of those moments where you thought Cole Palmer's going to change the game for us here. This has gone on for a bit long now, and I credit Maresca, because I said before a couple of weeks ago, if Cole Palmer's not playing well, sub him off, bring him off, because if he's not doing anything for us in the game, bring him off. And credit to Maresca, he brings him off. He brings on Tariq George to replace Cole Palmer, but it wasn't enough. We have to credit Pedro Neto again. Played his role. He's playing in the number 9. He's playing as a striker, and he played it well. He did play it well. Had a couple of decent chances. He was drifting out to the wide areas at times as well to try and ping balls into the box. But he done what he needed to do. I just think obviously he's not clearly a out and out number 9. He's not a striker, but he does what he can in that role, and we have to credit Pedro Neto for that. Now, the goal for me personally is exactly what we need to do a lot more of at Chelsea, and that is shoot. Test the goalkeeper. Just test him. Just work the goalkeeper. We keep trying to pass and pass and pass and pass, and sometimes that pass isn't on. Sometimes you're not going to get the perfect goal. You're not going to be able to pass it a million times before you shoot the ball. Sometimes you just got to run towards goal and shoot and test the goalkeeper. And credit to Marc Cucurella, because he finds the space in front of him. He uses the space really well. And before you know it, he's taking a shot on it. It was a really good shot as well, into the bottom corner. Goalkeeper's not saving it, and it's 1-0. It's here's where it got a bit weird though, because even though Leicester weren't pressing us, we didn't look like we were going to get another goal. And as the game went on, you just felt there was going to be a mistake in that game, whether it was going to be Sanchez, one of the centre-backs, a stupid penalty or something. You just felt there was going to be something in that game where we thought, hold on a minute, we're actually going to let Leicester back in the game. And even near the end, in the corner, we had a corner, and we're playing keep ball again. And no disrespect to Leicester, but we're playing keep ball. We're trying to keep the ball in the corner against Leicester. Like, this is where we are. And I just thought, if we come up against a better team yesterday, I don't think we walk off that pitch with 3 points based on yesterday's performance. I don't think we were good enough. We weren't clinical. We were wasteful when we had our opportunities. As I said, Cole Palmer wasn't really doing as much as he could. It just didn't fill me with joy. And we got Arsenal coming up next, and then Tottenham and Copenhagen before that. So, we've got some really difficult games coming up, and we're playing like that against Leicester. It didn't fill me with joy, I'll be honest. And you could sense it even in the crowd. The crowd was feeling that sort of anxiety. It was very anxious. You could hear that it wasn't as loud as it can be at Stamford Bridge. We can't keep going through these games and playing the way that we're playing. We just can't. Because even though Leicester didn't really trouble us in front of goal, you come up against Arsenal, who, didn't win against United yesterday, but they gave them a game. And Tottenham are Tottenham. They're going to be up for that game. We can't afford to be dropping points at this point in the season now. We're back in the top 4 spaces. We could potentially get top 5, get Champions League football. But there's still a lot of work to do with this team, because you can see that it's still very disjointed. There's a question mark now, a massive question mark around Cole Palmer. Does he need to be rested? Does he need to be dropped? Taken out the limelight a little bit? You have to ask these questions now, because we have players on the bench. We have players that can come on and do a job. I love Tariq George. I think he's going to be a good player for us. Is it too early to start him? Possibly against Arsenal, but why not? Why not start? Why not give him a chance? Because at the moment, Cole Palmer doesn't seem to be wanting to get himself back into the level that he can. And if he's not going to do it, then someone else needs to step up and take the mantle and take it on and do what they can do. And that could be Tariq George, because Arsenal's going to be a big game for us. It's a massive game, and we have to win that one. Out of the two, when you talk about Arsenal and Tottenham, we have to beat Arsenal just based on league positions and where we are. So Paul Palmer's got to step up. It'd be interesting about the goalkeeper in that game as well. Does he stick with Sanchez? But overall, I'll be honest, I left that game yesterday mixed feelings. Yes, we got 3 points. Yes, we got the win. It was a decent enough performance, but you come up against a better team than Leicester, you're going to get picked apart very quickly. So it's a bittersweet moment. We're back in the top 4, positive, but we clearly have to do better. We have to do better, because against a bigger team, better team, we're not walking off that pitch with 3 points at all. We have to do a lot better than that. It's as simple as that. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Am I being too critical, too harsh on the team? Was it actually a decent point, 3 points, decent goal? Is that all that matters? But when we come up against Arsenal, Tottenham, we have to do better, surely. So let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll be back soon with another video. Enjoy the rest of your week.